So a little while ago, I saw this deck on Etsy. And my daughter and I, we both work with Aphrodite. We love her beauty. We love her energy. We love her wisdom. Just a really awesome energy to work with. So I decided I was going to get this deck. But then one of my YouTube friends had the deck and she really wasn't feeling it. And I was like, you know what? Would it help you if I bought it from you? Because I knew I wanted it. I knew I was feeling it. And she said, well, you know what? You can have it. So this was a gift from one of my YouTube friends. And I just had to show it to you because I really enjoyed the couple pictures that I saw. Now, full disclaimer, there's a lot of nudity in this deck. Aphrodite is known for the beauty of the body, the beauty of her physical form. So the naked natural body is in this deck on almost every card. So if you're somebody who does not like nudity, if the naked body is offensive to you or something like that, that's fine. But you should click off of this video. You should click off this video right now because there's a lot of it in here. And it's all art. There's no porn. It's all art, but still it's not some people's cup of tea. So viewer discretion is advised. Do not watch this with children. Unless unless they're with a parent and able to explain. These decks aren't for kids anyway, really. They're really for adults. So 18 plus. All right, guys. So my name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everyone who might like it too. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you want to get a reading done, please hit me up on my email or my social media. Underneath this video, you will find first the link to this deck. Then you will find my information. Please check it out because my Patreon is there. We're doing a really cool book club and it's a whole bunch more information underneath there. So let's get started because I'm very excited to show you this deck. So when you open her up, the first thing you're going to notice is the pinkness. This is the most pretty and pink deck I have seen in a while. The inscription says, Aphrodite, goddess of love divine. With you, our hearts and souls entwine. May your blessings be upon us all as we answer to love's eternal call. I love that. It really, to me, really gives off the energy of Aphrodite, the beauty, the love. I love that vibration. Here's our guidebook. It's a pretty hefty guidebook, as you can see. What I love about the guidebook is that all of the art in here is old art that has been put into the different tarot categories. So it have here the painting, the name, the person that did the painting, and what year. So if you want to look it up and learn more about that painting, you can. I love the fact that there's an affirmation for each and every card. So if you get this card, for example, you might want to use that affirmation for that day. Likewise, there's keywords and there's a meaning. Now, I noticed that I did not see the reversals in here. So if you're somebody like me that uses reversals, you're going to have to use a separate book for the reversals. However, in the front, and the court cards have been changed. The pages are going to be called the princess and the knights are going to be called the priestess. Okay. And some of the cards have been renamed as we're getting ready to find out. There's information in here on Aphrodite in the very beginning. And there is also a couple of spreads in here. What is that? Yeah, it's a couple of spreads in here. So if you're somebody who likes to use spreads or this Celtic cross spread is very common in the past, present, future. And it talks about it a little bit. So if you're somebody who's new to tarot, you can definitely use those to do a reading. So that is the guidebook. And then you come to the box. So we'll take out the beautiful cards. And this is the bottom of the box. And as you can see, this is not a tuck box. This is a sturdy box. This box is my favorite kind. I love the hard boxes. My tuck boxes get destroyed. Before we get started, let me tell you about the cards themselves. Not too thick, not too thin. Great card stock. I love the card stock. This is the back of the card. Beautiful. I like it because if it's in the upright or the reverse, it's the same. So you can't tell. I like that a lot. I like the colors. I like the backing. You can see the little designs on the back, the gold. I'm getting ready to add some things to my love altar for Aphrodite. And I was saying I was going to get pink, red, and gold, which seems to be colors that are very popular with devotees of Aphrodite. And one more thing I'm going to show you that I am in love with are the edges. Look at that. It's like a soft pink metallic edging. Isn't that clever? I love that so much. I love that. These are the little details that make me fall in love with a deck. All right, now I'm going to show you each and every card. So as I said before, certain cards have been renamed. This card here, the Birth, is the Fool card from traditional tarot. And here's our Magician. The cards are the size of a standard size tarot deck. So those of you who have small hands, it should not be difficult for you to be able to shuffle them and handle them. I love the font. We see here that the name of the card is at the bottom and the number of the card is at the top. I like the font that they use. Very clear, very easy to read. I like the ornateness on the sides. To me, that's very Aphrodite. That kind of, you know, that beauty, that ornate beauty is what I take from her. And as you can see, I was not kidding about the nudity. On almost every single card, there's some nudity. And I love that. I love nudity as art. So for me, I just love it. I think it's a beautiful part. I would like to see different body shapes and body types. But some of the women are fuller. Some of the people, because there's men in here too. Some of the people are a little fuller than others. But I would love to see more of that. But when you're dealing with this type of art, you don't always get that. All right, wait a minute, guys. I'm having some issue because I'm trying to show you each card and the wires are getting in the way. Okay, here we go. Aries. If you know the story of Aphrodite, Aries was one of her more interesting lovers. Let's put it like that. She had a lot of lovers from Greek mythology. And Aries was one who was one of the more, I would say, interesting and turbulent. The Hierophant. So the one person that has a lot of clothes on is our Pope. And as you're looking through these, you probably recognize this art. Like I said before, this is art that has been depicted time and time again. I mean, it's timeless and it's beautiful. So I like that. I like the art. I'm used to this art. As a matter of fact, if you're someone who has the Tarot of Delphi, which is another deck that I have, and have enjoyed for many, many years, a lot of this is the same art. And I know the Tarot of Delphi isn't always easy to get your hands on. So this would be a good substitution if that is something that you really do want. Because I've noticed that a great deal of the cards, some of them aren't in the same position that Delphi put them in, but a lot of these paintings are the same. Here we are. The Fates is the Wheel of Fortune. Again, a card that they renamed. And all the cards that were renamed, they did put the traditional naming in the front of the book in case you get confused. I like the playfulness of the art that they chose. It's a happy deck. It's a very happy, playful deck. Stillness. Stillness is the Hanged Man. I love her outfit. That red outfit, that is so pretty. And another person has that outfit on too. We're going to see that again. The Death card. So as you can see, there's a softness to the pictures that they picked. I love that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? There's a real softness to it. Now, most of the time, you guys know, I really like decks that have diversity in them. And you're not going to see much of that in here. Size diversity, like I said before, racial diversity. You're not going to see much of that. But I didn't really expect it, because the Tarot of Aphrodite, what I expected was Greek mythology, because that's where Aphrodite comes from. So I was expecting Greek mythology, and I don't know if all these paintings are of Greek origin, but I know a great deal of them are supposed to depict Aphrodite herself. So that is something I pretty much expected. And you do see some men, as you've seen before, but you see that it's mostly women. So it's more of a, I would call it a divine feminine deck in that kind of a way. So I think it's really beautiful. I think if you're a devotee of Aphrodite, or somebody who wants to get in tune with her energy, I think it's wonderful for that. If you're somebody who's just getting into the divine feminine, I think it's wonderful for that. And also, if you look at that, there is a softness, there's a beauty to a lot of these cards, but there's also a strength. A lot of these poses, you see the strength of the divine feminine as well. So if you're familiar with Aphrodite's mythology, you see a lot of that here too. It is believed that she was born out of the sea. So you see a great deal of depictions of her either by the sea or in the sea, or other people standing by the sea. There's a lot of that. There's also a lot of flowers, which I would expect with divine feminine. And I've seen some pearls, which also are of the sea. Look at that. It's beautiful. And I love the baby cherubs, the baby angels. You'll see a lot of these baby angels all over. This kind of art coming from, you know, the old days, I'm gonna call it ancient art. This kind of ancient depicting art, you do see a lot of cherubs, a lot of angels. Even though Aphrodite would have been from the pagan tradition, we see a lot of Christian influence. We saw the Pope. Some of that comes just from tarot. Tarot has influences from different spiritual systems. But also the angels. The angels come from different traditions as well. I love these. I love that. Look at that painting. You know, this is the kind of deck that you can just find yourself staring at. It's like art in a box, you know. There are some decks that I have, like Tarot of Delphi, the Sufi Tarot. There are some of them that are just art. And even if I'm not doing a reading, I can just sit and look at them. Now, something I did not notice until just now is that as we moved into the court cards, we're into the wands now, there's a wand on top instead of the number. So I thought I would point that out. And it says at the bottom. So here's our princess. So the princess, they said, is our page. Page of Wands. The priestess here is going to be our Knight of Wands, which is cool because she's on a horse, so that definitely fits. I like the way the artwork is matching up with the traditional tarot. A lot of times when you see decks done like this, remember I said we would see this outfit again? We saw her earlier, or somebody that looks like her in the same outfit. I like that outfit. But when I was saying before was that a lot of times when you see decks that use older art, they don't always match. Let me stop. There we go. They don't always match the energy of the card. This particular deck, each and every one matches that I've seen. So I like that. I like that a lot. Too. I like this art style, this kind of old fashion. Oh, look at that, the Three of Swords. So again, the sword is up here and somebody has passed over. I think it's a beautiful job. The border, I think the border is a little bit big. I think that borders work like picture frames. So I think it fits. It does it does draw the eye to the picture that's inside. But I think they could have made it a little bigger. Maybe an inch in each direction. They could have made the art just a little bigger. It's not something that takes away from the deck at all. It's actually, still a very beautiful deck. But I think that a lot of times there's a little too much border. And this is one of those times when we could have had a little less border. Now, if you're somebody who modifies your decks, it wouldn't be difficult to take off at least one layer of the border. I wouldn't do that though, because as you can see how this overlaps that line. And the last time I tried to modify a deck, I think I told you guys it didn't go well. Oh God, it didn't go well. It went all for the deck looks terrible, and I don't even use it. I was just saying the other day that I should use it for an art project or something and buy another copy. So I gave up on modifying decks, but I do know a lot of people who can very skillfully modify decks. So some people may want to do that. But I personally think that even though the border could have been smaller, I think it's awesome. I love this deck. Looking at it, I would give it a 9 out of 10. And that's the only real thing I think that they could change is the size of the border. That's it. I like the placement of the art. I like the art that they chose. I even like the renaming. The renaming fits with the cards, especially the priestess. I like that. I love that because in the mythologies there was always the priests, the priestesses, especially when you think about like Delphi and Apollo. So they always had that going on. So I think that's beautiful. And we're seeing different time periods too. Like that one I just saw, that looked like the time of King Arthur, which was much later than the time of the ancient Greeks. So we're seeing ancient times, but not just one time period depicted. Oh, look at that. Now you guys know there's the cups. Look at so the cup is on top right there. You guys know the cups are my favorite suit. Beautiful. Look at this. Look at this art. And because it's such ancient and in many cases famous art, some of these are just like, oh, breathtaking. That's beautiful. That's why I said it's the kind of deck you could just stare at. It's the perfect tribute to Aphrodite, in my opinion, because even though I know that she has many other attributes than just beauty, just love, I think somebody was talking about there's other attributes to her. I feel like this is the attribute that most of us connect with. When I started to work with Aphrodite, it was because of the love. Oh, I love this. That drew me to her. This is so beautiful. For the Six of Cups. Perfect energy for it. Yeah, she did a great job. The creator did a great job at matching these up. Beautiful. I would assume Aphrodite would be proud. I would assume she'd be proud of this deck. I hope this deck stays in rotation because I feel like every devotee of Aphrodite has got to see this. Look at that. Just the sweetness to it, right? Based on the size and the card stock, these will also be very easy to shuffle. Oh, look at that. That is really cool. Instead of riding a horse, she's riding what looks like, I think, a dolphin. That is so cool. There's our queen. So as you can see, there are men here. You know, we have the divine masculine as well as the divine feminine, but it's mostly the divine feminine, which I am not mad at. Okay, now we're into the pentacle. So we have a pentacle on top. Beautiful. Look at that. That's really cool. Look at that. That's really cool. I've never seen this picture. This is one I have never seen. I like that a lot. I like how they're in the garden. That's really cool. Look at that. That's gorgeous. I love it. Look at her red hair. I love it. They have different hair colors. I like that. I love the hair colors. Ah, the pearls. This is what I was talking about from earlier. Beautiful. The pearls and the seashells. Now, it seems like this woman here and this woman here have on the most clothes that I've seen in our entire deck. And for the pentacles, that makes sense. The pentacles have a tendency to be a very down-to-earth and practical energy. So even though some of them are still in like the sheer, you know, I love that. But you still see there, some of them are more covered up. I like this dress. This was, I think on the guidebook, if I'm not mistaken, or the back of the box. We've seen this already. The pinkness of it. Ugh. The pinkness of this deck. Oh, my heart is about to just burst with joy. I swear. She's pretty. I like that she's sitting on that, what looks like a bear skin. Nice rug. And the details, these are really nice. That looks like Persephone. I think that might be I have to look it up, but I think that's what that is. Again, more clothes. Remember I said they have the most clothes. So the pentacles have on the most clothes, which makes sense because the pentacles is a very material sign. And this is our last one. So we're going to take a look at this really fast in our guidebook. Now we're done. And we're going to see if that is Persephone. I could have sworn I've seen... Oh, it's Narcissus, 1912, by John William Waterhouse. Okay. All right. So, Narcissus. Interesting. I'm used to Narcissus looking into the pool of water and falling in love with itself. So, this is a different depiction of it. So, that's really cool. So, that is the Tarot of Aphrodite. I was about to call it the Tarot of Delphi. It's the Tarot of Aphrodite. And I keep saying that because I have the Tarot of Delphi right next to me, and it does remind me a lot of it. So if you're somebody, like I said before, who's trying to get the Tarot of Delphi and you couldn't get it because it's out of print or it's not around, this is a great substitute. The cards are smaller and the card stock is a little bit different, but they used many of the same depictions. But this one is specifically Aphrodite-esque. The pinks, the softness. So I have both of them in my collection, and I can see where I could use them both in different ways. So that's it. Thank you for joining me, and please come back soon because I have a lot more to say. See you later.